sleep together. After hiking all day, the two men arrived at a campsite, set up a tent, and fell asleep. In the middle of the night, the father woke the son up and said, this new MBA, he said, "Son, look up at the sky and tell me what you see." The MBA replied, "I see millions of stars." "What does that tell you?" the father said. The MBA, remembering his education, or the PGDM as you guys call it, pondered for a minute and said, "Astronomically speaking, it tells me that there are millions of galaxies and potentially billions of planets out there. Astrologically, it tells me that Saturn is in Leo. Meteorologically, it tells me that we're going to have a beautiful day tomorrow." Newly minted grad from IIM Calvin turned to his father and said, "Dad, what does it tell you?" The father was silent for a moment and then said, "I think it tells me that somebody stole our tent." Now, I love this story for two reasons. First, it demonstrates how a business education transforms the way you view the world. The degree you just received illuminates new approaches to situations all the time. Second, as the father reminds us, you also need to see the details as well as the big picture. You can't overlook what's right in front of you. And today, right in front of me, is truly an amazing view. Graduates, I can see the excitement on all your faces. I can practically hear your hearts beating with anticipation. You're about to take the next step in your lives. Most of you are headed for your first real, well-paying jobs. And for the first time in your life, you're not going to be dependent on anybody. It's an exciting moment, and I realize at this point, I am just about what's standing between you and that great future. Behind you, I can see your family and loved ones. They're glowing with pride today. They're sitting there and saying to themselves, it was all worth it. Well, let me tell you, every night they spend worrying about you, and every penny they save for your education was worth it. You have exceeded their every expectation. And taken from a mother of two, there is no better feeling than watching someone you love realize their dreams. Now, your loved ones and your family behind you are also hoping you'll still make time for them in your busy schedules, that you'll care for them in their old age, and that you'll use your newfound economic freedom wisely, perhaps to help them pay off debts, put money away for hospital bills, or maybe even put some money away for a sister's wedding. Seated around you, I see your professors and the wonderful staff of this institution. They do this event every year, but for them, it never gets old. They have invested so much in each and every one of you. They are hoping you will go out and use your education to make a difference in society. They are counting on you to bring honor to this institution and to make our country and our world a better place. So from where I'm standing, I can feel it all. The excitement, the anticipation, the pride, and the hope. You know, there are a few constants in our world, but this is one of them. This is what every convocation speaker sees. And I'm sure that's what the speaker at my IIMC convocation in 1976 saw too. It's hard to believe that you are the 50th batch to graduate from IIMC, and I was the 11th batch. And thinking back to my own 11th batch, long time ago, and thinking back to my own graduation from IIM Calvin, I can say with great confidence that life here has undoubtedly changed for the better. We didn't have this beautiful RV back then. Our convocation was on a tiny tent on the grass here. We only had 4 hostels. It was my tiny tent there. It was not as festive. We didn't have nice convocation robes. And it was not as well attended as this one. In fact, in every way, your time here at IIMC and the world you're about to enter is more advanced, more diverse, and more global than mine was back in 1976. My batch was the first to graduate from this Joka campus. I spent my first year in the old BT Road campus, which is the heart of the Naxalite territory, not the safest area. And when we moved from BT Road to Joka, believe it or not, between Thakurpukur and the Joka campus was only farmland. So it's a different time. My batch was around 100 students, and I was only one amongst 5 or 6 women in my class. And there were only 12 in the whole school. They couldn't take more because there were only so many dorm rooms they built for women. We talk about glass ceilings today, but back then, women were limited by the number of walls. When it comes to resources, there's no comparison. Back then, if we got our hands on a 2-year-old Harvard Business Review, we thought we died and gone to heaven. 2-year-old HBR. The most advanced technology that we all had available was a 4-function calculator. And there was one IBM 360 in Calcutta, one IBM 360. So there were no computers back then. Needless to say, that was also a different time. India was a different place. When I graduated from business school, India was a great country, but it was lagging behind, closed off from the rest of the world, both economically and socially. The only recruiting on campus was for jobs in India. Even multinational companies recruited for jobs in India. And many of the jobs were for the manufacturing sector. Investment banking, consulting really didn't exist there. And for me, the dots are hard to connect, to get from that point when I graduated to where I am today. They were few and far between, and I feel blessed by the path they ultimately enumerated for me. But for you, the dots are numerous. They form a veritable constellation, a constellation of opportunity. Because in the last 40 years, the landscape has changed entirely. There are more than 100 women graduating today. And the number of executives in the Fortune 500 is growing every year. India is the world's fastest free market economy that's growing rapidly, and it's a hub of technological innovation. IIMC graduates are some of the business world's most highly sought after graduates. In fact, I understand every one of you has received a placement offer in record time, and it's safe to say you're all headed for wildly successful careers. So, I'm not here to tell you how to have a successful career. I'm here to tell you that a successful career is not enough. A successful career is not enough. With the many blessings you've received, with the world-class education you've just completed, with all the incredible resources available to you right here in India, you must make something more. You must make a lasting impact. You can change the way the world looks at business and the way business looks at the world. You can turn the inconceivable into the inevitable. You can turn the inconceivable into the inevitable. You can leave the world a brighter, better place. I say this not because it's just a convocation speech and my job is to inspire you with grand pronouncements about your potential, but because as much progress as India has made, and the world has also made progress in the last 4 decades, we still have a long way to go. We still face complex challenges like income inequality, climate change, resource scarcity, all of which demand solutions and demand leadership. Making these challenges even more complex is the fact that they're all interconnected. You cannot dive into one issue without touching another. At the same time, no issue can be contained within a single country. Most issues you will deal with are global. You will have to learn how to take off your blinders, think expansively, and realize that you are part of a global ecosystem. And it's critical you take this responsibility seriously because you are the problem solvers and leaders we need to overcome the world's most serious challenges. On the other hand, a number of us today, people like me, are entering the sunset of our careers. We are counting on you to make our golden years peaceful and worry-free. President Bill Clinton put it very well. He said, the I have more yesterdays than tomorrows. You've got more tomorrows than yesterdays, and you better show up. I'm confident you will show up. And if you'll allow me, I have a few suggestions to help you on your way. Some of you may be familiar with the old Korean maxim: learn, earn, return. Learn, earn, return. It's the idea that successful people spend the first third of their lives developing the skills of their chosen trade, the second third maximizing their earnings potential, and the final third giving back through charity and mentorship of the next generation. Today I've observed that model is outdated. To make an impact in a complex and fast-changing world, you must learn, earn, and return simultaneously at every stage of your career. Allow me to elaborate. I'll begin with learning. For most of you today, you've just ended your formal education. But it's only the beginning of your life's learning. If you thought you were done being a student, think again, because you're going to be a student for life. You should be a student for life. Because while you've been taught how to balance a budget, you've yet to balance delivering short-term results with long-term performance in the company. While you've been taught to run operations, you've yet to manage the ambiguity of today's business world. While you've been taught how to market products to consumers, you've yet to market yourself within a global and ever-changing marketplace. And you won't find these lessons in a traditional textbook, but they're just as important as every discipline you studied here at IIM Calcutta.